Welcome to the land of morning calm. Korean traffic is anything but calm, and the combination of the unique custom and heavy traffic makes for some high-risk driving. Here are some of the customs. Nosing. In traffic, it is common for those needing to merge into your lane not to wait for an opening, but force the nose of their car into traffic. Running red lights. When the red light changes, look before you cross, as this is a common occurrence here. Another is taxiing buses, crossing multiple lanes without warning in order to pick up a fare. Remember, expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected is the name of the game over here, because the rules of the road are unique to Korea. The mix of pedestrians and traffic keeps things unpredictable. I knew that, but man, it was still a shock when the child walked right in front of me. Situational awareness is the key to handling the unexpected. In order to have maximum reaction time, keep your head on a swivel and your speed matching the conditions.
Korean children are taught if they raise their hand before crossing the road, everyone will stop for them. The problem is, children are children, and they don't always give you enough time to react. The rate of pedestrian death in Korea is 5 times higher than in the United States, so good situational awareness is critical.
Driving through Tongducheon, I know how to keep my eyes open, but soon I was out on the open road. I was looking for the Terminator, trying to anticipate what could happen. I had slowed down and was prepared to take evasive action. The pedestrians were a complete surprise. I don't know why the lead driver didn't warn me. It was life and death in my hands, and a split second to figure it out. The first sergeant, when he told us to always expect the unexpected, sure knew what he was talking about.
Being a good driver means correctly sizing up the situation, sometimes very quickly. If you spot a hazard, communicate. It can help keep your team out of hot water.
I've been investigating accidents for 2 years now, here, back home, and in other foreign countries. I often find that excessive speed is the culprit. I don't mean just exceeding the speed limit. Too often the case is poor risk assessment, driving too fast for the conditions. A speed limit sign means don't drive any faster under any circumstance. But if the road is slick, the weather's bad, the visibility is poor, or the conditions are right for black ice to form, slow down. Or if there are too many pedestrians on the road, or too much traffic, again, slow down. Remember, it's not how fast you get there, but getting there that counts.
The Korean police notified us. A local farmer had spotted the wreckage. The police said the driver was dead. There were no skid marks, no oil or grease on the road. The weather was good, the road was paved and level. It wasn't hard to figure out what had happened based on the time and no skid marks. I wonder if this guy died because his supervisor sent him out tired, or because he was a hard charger who wouldn't say no.
Fatigue is always a consideration when planning a mission. Due to this, unit SOPs have limits on duty days and the amount of time spent driving. However, the supervisor can't do his job unless you tell him when you exceeded those limits.
We were traveling north, going between 30 and 35 miles per hour. Looking back, I spotted 2 Korean cars approaching quickly. From their rate of closure, it was obvious that they were speeding, maybe racing. The first car cut in front of us. We had to brake hard. Without warning, the second car sped up and also tried to get in front of us. He didn't make it. He lost control of his vehicle and went off the road. None of our people were hurt and there was no damage to our vehicles, but the cars wound up in the ditch.
Convoy operations create hazardous situations because they block long areas of traffic, often causing other drivers to become impatient. Do your best to identify all possible hazards and have a plan you're prepared to execute in case something unexpected arises.
It became quite clear that we had taken the wrong turn. We were supposed to be right behind the convoy. I never thought driving a Humvee could cause so much trouble. I looked for a spot to turn around. The road was narrow and not too promising. Everything looked fine until I pressed the accelerator unintentionally. No one was hurt, and the Humvee was fine once we got it pulled out and cleaned up. Everyone gives me a hard time about it, some big joke. All I can think of, though, is what would have happened if we were really under combat conditions. You'll now be presented with some still photos of some representative roads and conditions in Korea. The intent is not to scare you, but to give you an idea of what you will face when you drive in Korea. You will drive in the summer, during monsoon season, winter and snow, and you will do it well. But safe driving does not happen by accident. A good driver training program and soldiers who know and enforce the standards make a good program. Accident prevention in United States Forces Korea is essential to the readiness posture you must maintain to be prepared to fight tonight. A big part of that is safe operations on the road. Pay attention to driver's training because the roads here may be your biggest hazard. Look carefully at the roadway below the Humvee and you will see there is no dirt under the concrete roadway. Rain or environmental conditions have caused erosion, removed the dirt, giving a false impression to a driver the road is solid. There are lots of roads in Korea like this, and it could just as easily have been an asphalt road. The weight of the M1 was enough to make the road give way, sending the M1 down the embankment. Maybe the vehicle was too far to the left. Maybe it did not matter. The only thing that saved this crew was the fact that their unit enforced the standard of daily rollover drills when in a field environment. This crew knew what to do and was ready. By the way, this could also happen to an M998 or a HEMTT or an M2 or any other vehicle. Maintain situational awareness. Someone should also be doing road recons, and the convoy brief should cover road hazards. Here is a good example of an obstacle course. At the bottom you have matting for farmers to dry their rice. The bridge is very narrow and more rice on the road around the corner. The road is narrow and winding. The bridge behind the two walkers is a right 90-degree turn. The overhead wires running across the road, youngsters walking down the middle of the road. Keep this in mind. Tracked vehicles using this road at night, sometimes during the day. Lots of wheeled vehicles and convoys use it during the day, and bad things can happen if you speed or don't have a heads-up attitude. If you run over the rice, the U.S. Army will have to buy that rice and a lot more than what you ran over. It's also bad community relations if we don't show concern for the local community. We need to have a good relationship with our neighbors. The rice covers more than half the road. This could also be pepper drying on the road in a different part of the year. This picture may remind you of the puzzle in the Sunday paper where you have to find 6 differences between 2 pictures. Take a second or two and see what you can find. Look carefully because you will drive in this situation. Once again, you may be in an LMTV, Hummer, or HEMTT trying to drive through this little town on a market day. This is another reason you have 2 people, 4 eyes, and 2 brains in the front. The guy in the right seat is normally the vehicle commander. The sign on the back of the forklift says slow, and that is absolutely correct. Local drivers will try to get around this forklift by nudging into your lane with or without turn signals. A lot of fender benders happen this way. A good rule of the road for us to follow is to give way. If you're involved in an accident here, there's a good chance you will be cited by the local police, and there goes that Safe Driving Award. That award is promotion points. Remember, adjust to the local driving conditions. There will be various sizes of forklifts, and they will even be on some major city highways during rush hours from 05:30 on. There is no prohibition about driving construction equipment on city roads in Korea. You will see everything from big-wheeled front-end loaders to small-wheeled cranes on the roads. During hours of reduced light, they often have difficulty being seen or non-existent brake lights or running lights. This road runs by a training area. See the MLRS in the background. You need to use the road to get to the training area, and he uses it to get from field to field. His vehicle will generally not have a rear view mirror or functioning brake lights. Also, he probably will not move too far to the right if he does see you. Remember, this is his road. Only one thing to say: situational awareness. How much can he see to the front or to the rear? Make sure you can see him and slow down. You will see this in the city and in the country. It might be an old lady pulling a cart of cardboard cartons on a heavily traveled road in a big city, or someone like this gentleman in the country. One thing is certain: they have the right of way. It may not be too smart for them to be where they are, but they're here. Remember what we said before about adjusting to different driving conditions and cultures. This is a bikers club on the main road in our largest training area. Notice the military equipment in the background. This road is also used by what we affectionately call the Terminator. Everybody is speeding, often in dusty, limited visibility conditions. The bikers like to do the same things here in Korea that are done in the United States. They like going up steep trails and cross country, kind of like doing the same things you do on a field exercise. The MPs and the local police try to keep them out of the area when an exercise is running, but they are not always successful because there are many ways into the area using trails and back roads. This one was picked to drive home the point of why you tie your antennas down when traveling from exercise area to exercise area. When you're on the hardball public road, tie them down with a protective cap secured on the end. The wire in the picture is 12 feet high and lower during the heat of the summer. This wire is almost directly in the center of the curve of the road. Remember this: the U.S. Army has had electrocutions in tracked vehicles when antennas have come in contact with energized wires. Soldiers have died. This wire was not energized, but are you willing to take the chance that it's not energized? There are a lot of low wires running across roads, especially in rural areas and small towns. This picture was selected to show you the rollover hazard. On the left of this road is what we call a benjo ditch. It is an abrupt drop-off at the edge of the road into a concrete drainage ditch. Both may look like they have shoulders, but in a lot of cases, weeds have grown up from the dirt in the ditch or the rice paddy. Both of these road hazards can cause you to leave the road. Plus, they're difficult to see at night. These weeds make it look like there's a shoulder, but actually there is none. The yellow and black hump in the road is just what you think it is, a speed bump. Hit this going too fast, and you might just have a problem making the turn coming up. A very narrow road leading to an exercise area used by oversized vehicles. Two military vehicles cannot pass each other safely along this road. The weeds on the right side hide a steep drop-off into a wide, deep benjo ditch. Lots of roads are like this in your area. Once again, two military vehicles of any size cannot pass each other along this road. Look at the location of the track imprints along the right side of the road. Also, look at the damage done to the road lip at the bottom right of the picture. If there was no dirt, or this was a soft shoulder, we could have a rollover situation. A classic benjo ditch. This will ruin your day if you don't have situational awareness. Add speed, the ditch, and too close to the ditch, and you have a bad situation. This road is about 40 degrees in some places, and the guy on the bike is just below a large rock embedded in the dirt trail. When it is wet, it is slippery. When it is dry, it is very slippery. In the exercise areas, there are lots of hills and steep dirt trails used by both wheeled and tracked vehicles in snow, wet, or dry conditions. These trails get pretty torn up and can present a driving challenge. When you get to Korea, your unit will make sure you get training in all different kinds of weather. Take advantage of it. The major road that passes through our biggest training area. This road gets dusty and the visibility goes down to a few meters. Terminators, buses, and POVs speed through the area. When it has been raining for a while, the mud dropped on the road from our vehicles creates slick driving conditions. In virtually any condition, the edge of the road is difficult to see. You may be on this road at night. We call these washouts. This one is on a dirt trail in an exercise area. They can be found on dirt trails, asphalt roads, and even concrete roads. When the dirt washes out from under the roadbed, it may cause the road surface to crumble. The running water then makes the washout bigger and bigger. This is a definite hazard to safe driving. Once again, good road recons, convoy briefings, and driver training will mitigate this hazard.
The Korean driving environment will be a challenge unlike any other you have ever faced behind the wheel. You'll be amazed and amused, bewildered, baffled, and possibly enraged by some of the Korean driving habits. But you will not be able to change those habits. To drive safely, you must adapt.